Single mother fired for being late after helping an elderly man in the rain, but he was her boss's father. Megan Brooks quickened her pace along Broadway in New York City, mentally calculating that she still had 5 minutes to get to the office on time. It was the third time that month she'd been racing against the clock, and she knew one more late arrival would mean the end of her job at the accounting firm Sterling and Associates. That's when she saw the grey-haired man trip on the wet sidewalk and fall hard to the ground. The torrential rain that had started suddenly was soaking the elderly man, who tried to get up but couldn't. Megan stopped. She looked at the watch on her wrist, then at the office just 2 blocks away, and finally at the fallen man. "Are you okay?" she asked, running over to him and kneeling on the wet sidewalk. "I think I twisted my ankle," the man replied with difficulty. "But don't worry about me, miss. Go take care of your own business." Megan looked at her watch again. 3 minutes to 8 in the morning. If she ran off now, she might still make it on time, but the man tried to lean on his cane and couldn't stand up. "I'll help you get up. What's your name?" "Samuel Sullivan Grant, but you can call me Mr. Samuel." Megan helped the man to his feet, offering her shoulder as support. The rain was still coming down hard, and she took off the pink jacket she was wearing and placed it over Mr. Samuel's head to shield him. "Miss, you're going to get soaked because of me. It's no problem. You need to get out of this rain. Where do you live?" "Right nearby, in the building on the corner. But you don't have to. I'll walk you there." They walked slowly, Megan supporting part of the old man's weight while the rain drenched them. Mr. Samuel was noticeably limping, and she could tell the injury was more serious than he let on. "Thank you, young lady. It's been a long time since I met someone so kind." "Anyone would do the same," Megan replied, though she knew that wasn't true. Several people had passed by without even looking. They reached the building where Mr. Samuel lived. The doorman saw them and rushed over to help. "Mr. Samuel, what happened?" "I fell on the sidewalk, but this angel here helped me." Megan helped the doorman settle the elderly man into a chair in the building's lobby. "Do you need anything else? Should I call a doctor?" "No need, young lady. Thank you so much. What's your name?" "Megan. Megan Brooks." "Megan, you wasted your time with me. I hope this didn't cause you any trouble." Megan looked at her watch. It was already past 8:15. She was officially late, and this time there was no excuse that Bradley Sterling, the manager, would accept. "Don't worry, Mr. Samuel. Take care of yourself." She ran the 2 blocks to the office, entering the elevator wet and out of breath. When she arrived on the 8th floor, all her co-workers were already at their desks. Bradley Sterling was waiting for her, with his arms crossed next to her workstation. 15 minutes late, Megan. 3rd time this month. "Bradley, I can explain. There was an elderly man who—" "I don't want to hear excuses. We've talked about this twice already. You have kids, I understand, but this can't interfere with your job." Her co-workers pretended to be focused on their tasks, but Megan felt all eyes on her. Sheila from the next desk shook her head disapprovingly. Chad from the finance department whispered something to his colleague, and they both chuckled quietly. "Bradley, please, I need this job. I can make up the lost time by staying late today." "I'm sorry, Megan. The decision has been made. Gather your things." The world seemed to crumble around her. 3 years working at the company, she had never missed a single day, always carried out her tasks with dedication. And now she was being fired for helping someone in need. "But Bradley—" "You're fired, Megan. Human Resources will calculate your severance." With trembling hands, she began gathering her personal belongings from the desk. The photo of her children, Nate, 12, and Lily, 8. The calendar with the kids' medical appointment dates. The small pot with a succulent she'd gotten at last year's Secret Santa. Sheila approached when Bradley moved away. "Megan, I warned you he had his eye on you. Don't complain later." "I just helped someone, Sheila. And you ended up paying for it. Mind your own business, right? I always say that." Chad appeared beside her desk. "At least now you'll have more time to take care of your kids," he said sarcastically. "I never understood how you got this job anyway." Megan felt tears burning in her eyes, but she forced herself not to cry there, in front of everyone. She finished packing her things into a cardboard box and headed for the elevator. No one said goodbye. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, go ahead and hit like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us beginners a lot. Now continuing. On the sidewalk in front of the office building, Megan finally let the tears fall. The rain had stopped, but she was drenched inside and out. How would she tell her kids? How would she pay the rent, which was already late? What would she do now? She walked to the bus stop, heading toward her children's school. It was almost 9 in the morning, and she needed to let them know there had been a change in the routine. Usually, a neighbor picked up Nate and Lily at 2 in the afternoon and took them home, where Megan arrived at 6. Now she'd have to reorganize everything. On the bus, she looked out the window at the streets of New York City passing by and tried to think of alternatives. She had some money saved up, enough for 2 months' rent if she was very careful. After that, she preferred not to think about it. She arrived at the public school where her kids studied and asked to speak with the principal, Mrs. Martha, a 60-year-old woman who knew the family's situation well. "Megan, you look terrible. Did something happen?" "I lost my job this morning, Mrs. Martha." "Oh my God, dear, what happened?" Megan told the whole story. The principal listened in silence, shaking her head. "You did the right thing, Megan. Never regret helping someone. But I know that won't pay your bills. Let me see if I can get some job leads for you." "Thank you, Mrs. Martha. I'll take anything." "And the kids? Are you picking them up early today?" "I think so. I'm not sure what the new routine will be yet." Megan went home, a 2-bedroom apartment in an old building in Queens. It was small, but it was what she could afford on her salary, what she had been earning until a few hours ago. She sat on the living room couch and finally let reality hit her full force. Unemployed, with 2 kids to raise on her own, behind on rent and with little savings. At 35, she felt like all the stability she had built had crumbled in a matter of minutes. Her cell phone rang. It was her mother, Faith, 62 years old, who lived in Atlantic City. "Honey, how are you?" "Hi, Mom, I'm fine," she lied. "Your voice sounds weird. Did something happen?" Megan hesitated. She didn't want to worry her mother, who only had a small pension and already helped when she could. "No, Mom, everything's normal." "Megan, I've known you since you were born. What's wrong?" She couldn't hold it in anymore. Megan told her everything, crying on the phone. Faith listened in silence and then let out a deep sigh. "My daughter, your heart is too good for this world. But don't despair. I'll see what I can do to help you all." "Mom, you already do so much for us." "Nonsense. That's what family is for. You'll find another job, I'm sure." After hanging up, Megan felt a little better. At least she wasn't completely alone in the world. At 2 in the afternoon, she went to pick up the kids from school. Nate immediately noticed something was different. "Mom, why did you come to get us? And why are you home at this hour?" "We'll talk at home, sweetie." Lily, always more distracted, was happy to see her mother earlier. "That's great, Mom. Now you can help me with my homework." At home, Megan gathered them both in the living room and tried to explain the situation as gently as possible. "Kids, Mommy doesn't work at that company anymore." "Why?" asked Nate, always the most inquisitive. "Because I was late today and the boss didn't like it." "But you're going to get another job, right?" Lily was only 8, but she already understood the importance of working. "Yes, I will, my love. Don't worry. Mommy will figure it out." Nate, however, wasn't satisfied with the explanation. "Mom, why were you late? You're never late." Megan told him about the man she had helped. Nate became thoughtful. "So you lost your job because you helped someone?" "Yeah, that's what happened." "That's not fair," said Nate, with the typical indignation of someone discovering that the world isn't always fair. "It really isn't fair, honey, but sometimes things just happen that way." Lily came closer to her mother and hugged her. "Don't be sad, Mom. You're the best mom in the world." Megan felt her heart tighten. How could these kids be so understanding and loving in the middle of all this difficulty? That night, after putting the kids to bed, Megan sat at the kitchen table doing the math. She had $2,500 in savings. Rent was $800 plus $200 for maintenance fees. Electricity, water, phone added up to another $300. Food for 3 people, at least $400 a month if she really scrimped. Just the basic bills came to $1,700. With the money she had, she'd get at most 2 months. She grabbed the computer and started looking for job openings online. Administrative assistant, receptionist, sales associate. She sent resumes to dozens of companies, knowing the competition would be tough. After 2 hours of job hunting, she decided to take a shower and try to sleep. Tomorrow would be a new day, and she needed to be rested for the interviews she hoped to land. But sleep didn't come. She lay staring at the ceiling, thinking about everything that had happened. Had she done the right thing? Should she have ignored the man in the rain and gone straight to work? No. No matter how hard her situation was now, she knew she couldn't live with herself if she had abandoned someone in need. Her mother had always taught her that helping others was more important than anything else. The next morning, Megan woke up to the sound of the phone ringing. It was Mrs. Martha from school. "Megan, I got the contact for a company that's looking for an administrative assistant. It's a small construction firm, but at least it's a start." "Thank you, Mrs. Martha. I'll call them right away." The construction company was in the Bronx, far from home, but Megan couldn't afford to be picky. She scheduled an interview for that afternoon. She dropped the kids off at school and took 2 buses to get there. The company was really small, operating out of a converted house. The owner, Mr. Howard, a man in his 50s, received her personally. "So, Megan, tell me a bit about yourself." She talked about her experience, omitting the reason she was let go from her previous job. "And why did you leave your last job?" The question she dreaded. She decided to be honest. "I was fired for being late." "I see. And why were you late?" Megan told the whole story. Mr. Howard listened carefully. "Look, Megan, your action was very noble, but I need someone who's punctual. I can't risk having schedule issues. Mr. Howard, I understand your concern, but I can assure you I'm a responsible person. In 3 years at my previous job, that was the only problem I ever had. I'll think about it and give you an answer by tomorrow." Megan left the interview knowing she wouldn't be called back. The man's expression made it clear that his mind was already made up. On the bus ride home, she got a call from an unknown number. "Hello, is this Megan?" "Yes. Who's speaking?" "This is Samuel. Samuel Sullivan Grant. You helped me yesterday in the rain." Megan immediately remembered the elderly man. "Mr. Samuel, how are you feeling?" "Much better, thanks to you. Listen, I've been thinking. You told me your name yesterday, and this morning I found out where you work." "Actually, I don't work there anymore, Mr. Samuel." "What do you mean?" "I was fired yesterday because of the delay." There was a silence on the line. "My dear, you lost your job because you helped me?" "It wasn't exactly that, Mr. Samuel. I had been late other times. I don't accept that excuse. You lost your job because you were a good Samaritan. That's disgraceful." "But it wasn't your fault." "Of course it was. If I hadn't fallen, you would have made it on time. Let me do something. I'll call that company and explain the situation." "No, Mr. Samuel, please don't do that. It'll only make things worse for me." "Leave it to me, Megan. I'll talk to the person in charge." Before she could protest further, Mr. Samuel hung up. Megan was worried. What if the elderly man went there and caused a scene? That could hurt her reputation in the job market even more. She got home distressed and found an envelope under the door. It was a condo fee notice with a late payment warning. One more worry. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, go ahead and leave a like, and especially subscribe to the channel. It really helps us who are just starting out. Now continuing. That afternoon, after picking up the kids from school, Megan was preparing dinner when the phone rang again. It was Mr. Samuel. "Megan, are you home?" "Yes, I am, Mr. Samuel." "Can I stop by? I need to talk to you in person." "Of course. Do you know my address?" "I got it from the doorman at my building. He knows the property manager at your building." Half an hour later, Mr. Samuel arrived accompanied by his building's doorman, who had driven him there. Megan received them at the entrance. "Mr. Samuel, you didn't have to come all this way." "Yes, I did, my dear. I have a proposal for you." They went up to Megan's apartment. Nate and Lily were curious about the visit, and she explained it was the gentleman she had helped the day before. "Nice to meet you, kids. You have a very special mother." "We know," Lily said with a smile. They sat down in the living room, and Mr. Samuel got straight to the point. "Megan, I called your former company today." Megan's heart raced. Who did you talk to? Some guy named Bradley. I explained the whole situation, told him you helped me and that's why you were late. And what did he say? That the company rules are clear and they can't make exceptions. He was very rude, by the way. Megan sighed. It was exactly what she expected. Thank you for trying, Mr. Samuel, but I figured it would go that way. Well, I have a proposal. I want to hire you to take care of my house. What do you mean? I've been a widower for 2 years. My wife Elaine used to handle everything. After she passed, the house turned into a mess. I need someone to clean, organize things, and prepare some meals. Megan grew thoughtful. On one hand, she desperately needed work. On the other, she didn't want Mr. Samuel to feel obligated to help her. Mr. Samuel, that's very kind of you, but nothing. You helped me when I needed it. Now it's my turn to help you. I can pay $500 a week. You'd come 3 times a week, about 4 hours each day, $2,000 a month. It was less than what she made at the accounting firm, but it was better than nothing. I don't know. Do you really need help? I'm absolutely sure. Do you want to see how the house looks? The next day, Megan went to see Mr. Samuel's house. It was a large, well-located apartment, but it really needed care. Piles of laundry to wash, dishes piled up, dusty furniture. You miss your wife a lot, don't you, Mr. Samuel? Yes, I do, my dear. Elaine took care of everything with such love. After she left, I lost the heart for these things. Megan started working that same day. She organized the kitchen, washed the dishes, tidied the living room. Mr. Samuel sat in an armchair, watching and talking. It's been a long time since I saw this house so tidy, he said, visibly moved. You need to take better care of yourself. It's hard, Megan. When you live with someone for 50 years and suddenly you're alone, I understand it must be very hard indeed. And you? How is it raising 2 children on your own? It's not easy either, but we manage. Their father doesn't help at all, so it's just us 3. How old are they? Nate is 12, and Lily is 8. Good ages. Do you have pictures of them? Megan showed some photos on her phone. Mr. Samuel smiled when he saw the children. They're very beautiful. They take after their mother. Over the following weeks, Megan established a routine. She went to Mr. Samuel's house on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. On the other days, she kept looking for work and taking care of her children. The relationship between them grew closer and closer. Mr. Samuel told stories from when he was young, spoke of his wife with great affection, and showed interest in Megan's children. You know, Megan, you brought joy back to this house. You're very kind. It's not kindness, it's the truth. Since Elaine left, I spent my days alone watching TV. Now I have someone to talk to. One day, Mr. Samuel made an unusual proposal. Megan, how about you bring the kids here this weekend? I have some old games stored away that they might like. Megan hesitated. She didn't want to mix things too much. I don't know, Mr. Samuel. Come on, my dear. It's been so long since I've had children around here. Elaine and I never managed to have any. The following Saturday, Megan brought Nate and Lily to see Mr. Samuel's house. The old man was radiant with their presence. What a big house, said Lily, impressed. It's way bigger than ours, added Nate. Mr. Samuel showed them a collection of vintage cars he kept in the guest room. These cars belonged to my nephew when he was little. Now he's an adult and has kids of his own. The children were delighted with the toys. Mr. Samuel told stories about each one, and for the first time in a long time, his house was filled with children's laughter. Mum, Mr. Samuel is really cool, said Lily on the way back home. Yeah, he knows a ton of stories, agreed Nate. Megan was happy to see her children cheerful, but also worried. What if Mr. Samuel got tired of their presence? What if she was taking advantage of the old man's kindness? The following week during work, Mr. Samuel seemed more excited than usual. Megan, I've been thinking, how about you all come over for lunch on Sunday? Mr. Samuel, you don't have to. I want to. It's been a long time since I cooked for more people. Elaine always made special Sunday lunches. But you shouldn't go to all that trouble. What trouble? It'll be a joy for me. Megan accepted the invitation, but insisted on helping with the food preparation. On Sunday, she arrived early with the children, and together they prepared a delicious lunch. "Did your wife teach you to cook?" "Yes, she did. Elaine used to say a man who can't cook is incomplete," he said, laughing. During lunch, Mr. Samuel told more stories about his and Elaine's lives. Nate and Lily listened, fascinated. "How did you two meet?" asked Lily Brooks. "At a midsummer festival 55 years ago. She was beautiful, in a blue floral dress. When I saw her doing the square dance, I thought, that's the girl I'm going to marry." "And did you really get married?" asked Nate Brooks. "We did, a year later. We had 50 very happy years together." Megan noticed that Mr. Samuel's eyes grew moist when he spoke of his wife. "She was a very special person," Megan said softly. "She really was. Elaine had an enormous heart, always helping everyone, always worried about others. You remind me a lot of her, Megan." After lunch, Mr. Samuel showed photo albums to the kids. Nate was impressed by the old photos. "Wow, the photos really were in black and white. They sure were, son. And it took days for them to be ready, not like today, where you take a photo and see it instantly." Lily was especially interested in the wedding photos. "What a beautiful dress." Elaine sewed her own dress. She was very skilled. When it was time to leave, the kids didn't want to go. "Can we come back next week?" asked Lily. "Of course you can, my dear. You'll always be welcome here." On the way home, Nate made an observation that surprised Megan. "Mom, Mr. Samuel is very lonely." "Why do you say that, son?" "You can tell he's happy when we're there, and he talks about his wife like she could walk in any minute." Megan was impressed by her son's maturity. "You're right, Nate. I think our presence does him good." "And his presence does us good too," said Lily. "He's like our grandfather." Lily's observation touched Megan deeply. Truly, Mr. Samuel was becoming a father figure in their lives. Her children had never known their paternal grandparents, and her mother lived far away. The presence of an older male figure was doing everyone good. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, feel free to leave a like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot since we're just starting out. Now, continuing. The weeks passed, and Megan's routine began to settle around her work at Mr. Samuel's house and caring for her kids. She kept sending out resumes and going on a few interviews, but so far she hadn't landed anything permanent. One afternoon, when she got home after work, she found a collection letter under the door. It was from the apartment owner, warning that the rent was 2 months overdue and that she had 15 days to pay off the debt or she'd be evicted. Megan sat in the kitchen and did the math again. With the money she earned from Mr. Samuel, she could cover basic bills and buy food, but it wasn't enough to clear the overdue rent. She picked up the phone to call her mother, but hesitated. Faith had already helped by sending $500 the month before. She couldn't keep asking for help. She decided to talk to the landlord, Mr. Miller, who lived on the ground floor of the building. She went down with the letter in hand. "Good afternoon, Mr. Miller." "Hi, Megan. I imagine you're here because of the letter." "Exactly. I wanted to talk to you about a longer deadline to pay off the arrears." "Look, Megan, I know you're a good tenant. You've never given me any trouble, but I have my own bills to pay." "I understand, Mr. Miller. The thing is, I lost my job 2 months ago and I'm still getting back on my feet." "I'm sorry to hear that. But have you found another job?" "I got a temporary job, but it's still not enough to cover all the expenses." Mr. Miller thought for a moment. "Let me be honest with you, Megan. I already have someone interested in the apartment who can pay in cash. If you can settle by the end of the month, fine. Otherwise, I'll have to rent it to her." "I understand. I'll do my best." Megan went upstairs with a heavy heart. There were 10 days left until the end of the month. Where would she get $1,600 to pay off the overdue amount? That night, after putting the kids to bed, she sat in the living room thinking about alternatives. She could try to get a loan from the bank, but she knew it would be nearly impossible while unemployed. She could ask her mother for more money, but that would be a huge burden on her pension. She could try to sell some things, but she didn't have anything valuable. The next day, she arrived at Mr. Samuel's house earlier than usual. He noticed she looked down. "Megan, you look terrible. Did something happen?" She hesitated to tell him. She didn't want Mr. Samuel to feel obligated to help even more. "I'm fine, Mr. Samuel, just a little tired." "You can't fool me, my dear. I've lived a long time and I know when someone is worried. Sit here and tell me what's going on." Megan couldn't hold it in and told him about the eviction threat. Mr. Samuel listened in silence, shaking his head. "How much do you need to pay off the overdue amount?" $1,600. "But Mr. Samuel, I'm not telling you this to ask for a loan. I know you're not, but I can lend you this money." "I can't accept it, Mr. Samuel. You already help me so much by giving me work." "Megan, listen to me carefully. I'm an old man alone in the world. I have money saved up that I don't even know what to do with. If I can help you and your kids, why wouldn't I? Because I wouldn't be able to pay it back." "Who said you have to pay it back? Consider it a gift." "I can't accept such a big gift." "Then accept it as a loan with no due date. When you can, pay it back. If you can't, forget it." Megan felt tears burning in her eyes. The kindness of that man was something she had never experienced before. "Why are you doing this for me?" "Because you brought humanity back into my life, Megan. Before you showed up, I was just waiting for my days to pass. Now I have reasons to wake up in the morning." "Mr. Samuel, don't make me cry, my dear. Just accept this help so I can have peace of mind." Megan accepted the loan, promising to pay it back as soon as she got a better job. Mr. Samuel went to the bank that same day and brought the cash. "Now you can rest easy about the apartment." "How can I thank you?" "By continuing to take care of me and bringing the kids to brighten up this house." That weekend, when Megan brought Nate and Lily to visit Mr. Samuel, the old man had prepared a surprise. He bought a checkers set and a 1,000-piece puzzle. "I thought you could leave these games here. That way, every time you come, we'll have something to do together." The kids were thrilled. Nate, who was entering adolescence and sometimes kept to himself, opened up completely with Mr. Samuel. "Did you play checkers when you were a kid?" Nate asked. "I sure did. My father taught me when I was about your age. He said checkers teaches you to think before you act." "Is that true?" "It is. In life, just like in the game, you have to think about the consequences of every move you make." Lily was more interested in the puzzle, which had a picture of a garden full of flowers. "It looks just like the garden in Grandma's house when I was little," she said to Megan. "That's true, sweetie. Grandma Faith's house had a beautiful garden." Mr. Samuel got curious. "What's your mother like, Megan?" "She's a very strong woman. She raised 5 kids practically on her own. My father drank a lot and didn't help at all." 5 kids? Good Lord! "And where are your siblings?" "I have 2 brothers who live in New York City, one who went to Los Angeles and a sister who got married and lives upstate. We talk, but everyone has their own life. You know how it is." "I understand." "And your mother, does she live alone?" "She does. She's in Atlantic City in the same house where we grew up." "She didn't want to come to New York City to be near you all." "We even offered, but she says she has her friends there, her routine. As you get older, it's hard to change." Mr. Samuel became thoughtful. "Age is no excuse for anything, Megan. I myself, at 75, completely changed my routine when you came into my life." "That's true. You're much livelier now." "I am indeed. You know, sometimes I think Elaine sent you to me." "What do you mean?" "Elaine always said that when a person does good, good comes back to them. You helped me that day, and now we're helping each other." The conversation was interrupted by Lily, who had finished a part of the puzzle. "Look, I managed to put together all the red flowers." "How beautiful, my dear," said Mr. Samuel. "You have patience, just like your mother." "My mother is the best in the world," Lily declared with conviction. "She really is," agreed Nate. "She does everything for us." Megan was moved by her children's words. Sometimes she felt like an inadequate mother, always running against the clock, always worried about money. But at that moment she realized that perhaps she was doing a better job than she thought. During the following week, Megan received a call that excited her. It was from a human resources company that had seen her resume online. "Megan, we have an opening for an administrative assistant at a medium-sized company in the financial district. Would you like to schedule an interview?" "Of course. When would it be?" Tomorrow at 2 in the afternoon. Can you make it? Yes, I can. Megan spent the rest of the day rehearsing possible interview questions. She picked out her best professional outfit and put together a folder with resumes and documents. The next morning, she went to work at Mr. Samuel's house, more excited than usual. "You're glowing today," he observed. "I have a job interview this afternoon." "That's great. Which company?" "It's called Sullivan and Associates. It's a business consulting firm." Mr. Samuel suddenly stopped what he was doing. "What's the name of the company?" "Sullivan and Associates. Why?" "Are you sure that's the name?" "Yes, I am. It's here on the paper." She showed him the note she had made. Mr. Samuel had a strange expression on his face. "Megan, have a seat for a moment." "Did something happen, Mr. Samuel?" "I have something to tell you. Sullivan and Associates. That company is my son's." Megan felt as if the ground had disappeared from under her feet. "What do you mean?" "My full name is Samuel Sullivan Grant. My son's name is Harrison Sullivan Grant. He owns Sullivan and Associates. But that's an incredible coincidence." "It's not a coincidence, Megan. I called him last week and told him about you. I asked him to give an opportunity to a very special person I met." "You did that?" "I did. But I didn't tell him it was you specifically. I just said I knew a very competent administrative assistant who was looking for a job." Megan didn't know if she was happy or worried. What if he finds out it's me? What if he thinks it's favoritism? "Harrison is a good boy, Megan. If you're competent at work, there won't be any problem. But Mr. Samuel, it might look like I'm taking advantage of our friendship." "Nonsense. You didn't know anything when you sent your resume there, and I only gave a recommendation. The rest depends on your competence." Megan was conflicted. On one hand, she was desperate for a job. On the other, she didn't want anyone to think she was using her relationship with Mr. Samuel to get ahead. "What do you think I should do?" "Go to the interview as usual. If they hire you, you'll work and prove your worth. Simple as that." "And if Harrison finds out who I am?" "Leave that to me. If you need, I'll talk to him." Megan spent the rest of the morning anxious. At 2 in the afternoon, she was at the door of Sullivan and Associates, a modern building in the financial district. The receptionist directed her to a conference room where she was greeted by a woman in her 40s, apparently from Human Resources. "Megan, I'm Vicky. I'm the HR coordinator here. Tell me a bit about yourself." Megan talked about her professional experience, her skills, her availability. Vicky asked several technical questions, which she answered confidently. "And why did you leave your last job?" Again, the difficult question. Megan decided to be honest. "I was fired for being late. There was a situation where I had to help an elderly person who had fallen on the street, and that made me arrive late to work." Vicky raised her eyebrows. "I see. And how many times did that happen?" "It was the 3rd time I was late that month." And do you think the firing was fair?" "From the company's rules point of view, it was. From a human point of view, I think it was disproportionate." "Your answer is interesting. I'll talk to the director and get back to you today." Megan left the company not knowing what to think. The interview had gone well, but her honesty about the reason for her firing might have hurt her. She went back home and waited for the phone call. At 5 in the afternoon, the phone rang. "Megan, it's Vicky from Sullivan and Associates. I'd like to talk to you in person. Can you come here now?" "Of course. I'm on my way." Megan went back to the company, thinking it would be to tell her she hadn't been selected. Vicky received her accompanied by a tall man with a serious appearance, who looked to be about 45. "Megan, this is Harrison Sullivan, the director of the company." Megan greeted the man, trying to hide her nervousness. It was Mr. Samuel's son. "Nice to meet you, Megan. Vicky told me about your interview, and I was intrigued by your answer about the reason for your firing at your last job." "Mr. Harrison, I always prefer to be honest, even if it hurts me." "It was exactly that honesty that caught my attention. Tell me in more detail what happened that day." Megan told the whole story again. Harrison listened attentively, without interrupting. "And you didn't regret helping the elderly person?" "I didn't regret it. If I had to choose again, I would do the same thing." Harrison smiled for the first time. "Megan, you're hired." "What?" "You heard me right. We want you on our team. A person who puts humanity above convenience is exactly the kind of employee we're looking for. Megan couldn't hide her emotion. Thank you so much. When can I start? Next Monday. Vicky will explain all the conditions. After sorting out the details with Vicky, a salary of $3,000, transportation voucher, meal voucher, health insurance, Megan left the company on cloud nine. She rushed home to tell the news to her children, who were overjoyed. "Mom got a new job," Lily shouted. "And she earns more than before," said Nate, who always paid attention to financial details. "Now we'll be able to pay all our bills on time," Megan said, relieved. That night she called Mr. Samuel to share the news. "That's great, my dear. I knew Harrison would like you." "Thank you for the referral, Mr. Samuel." "No need to thank me. You deserve this opportunity." "And now? What do we do about our agreement? I won't be able to work at your house 3 times a week anymore." "We'll figure it out. Maybe you can come once a week on Saturday, and of course, keep bringing the kids for Sunday lunches." "Deal." On Monday, Megan arrived promptly at 8 in the morning for her first day at Sullivan & Associates. Vicky introduced her to the team and explained her duties. "Megan will work directly with me, organizing documents, handling clients, and assisting with projects." The team welcomed her warmly, and she felt accepted from day one. The work was challenging, but she was motivated to prove she deserved the opportunity. During the first week, Megan worked hard to quickly learn all the company's routines. Harrison walked by her area several times a day, always nodding in greeting but without starting a conversation. On Friday, at the end of the day, he approached her desk. "Megan, how was your first week?" "Very good, Mr. Harrison. I'm really enjoying the work. Vicky told me you're fitting in well. Keep it up." "Thank you so much for the opportunity." "Opportunities are earned, Megan. You earned yours." That weekend, Megan went to Mr. Samuel's house to do the weekly cleaning they had agreed on. The elderly man was eager to know how her first week had gone. "So how was it working with Harrison?" "He seems like a serious but fair person. We haven't talked much yet, but I have a good impression." Harrison was always a responsible boy. From a young age, he took everything very seriously. "Are you proud of him?" "Very proud. He built that company from nothing. He started alone 15 years ago, and today he has over 50 employees. What a beautiful story." "It is. I just feel sorry that he works so much that he has no time to date. At 45, he's still single. Everyone has their own time for those things." "True. But sometimes I think he throws himself into work so he doesn't have to think about the loneliness." Megan found the comment interesting but didn't want to delve into the subject. On Sunday, as usual, she took her children to lunch at Mr. Samuel's house. During the meal, Nate asked an unexpected question. "Mr. Samuel, do you have children?" "I do, my boy. A son." "Does he come visit you?" Mr. Samuel was a little uncomfortable with the question. "He does come, but not often. He works a lot. You know how it is." "Too bad. If I had a father like you, I'd visit every day." Nate's innocence deeply touched Mr. Samuel, who hid his emotion by changing the subject. After lunch, while the kids played checkers, Megan talked with Mr. Samuel about her son's comment. "Nate hit a sensitive spot, didn't he?" "He did. Harrison and I drifted apart after Elaine passed away." "Why?" "I think each of us dealt with the pain differently. I shut myself in the apartment. He threw himself into work. When I realized it, we no longer knew how to talk to each other." "But you still talk, don't you?" "We do, but only about practical things. He calls once a week to see if I'm okay, sometimes stops by briefly. But it's not like before." "What was it like before?" "When Elaine was alive, we'd get together every Sunday. She was the bridge between us. After she was gone, we lost that connection." Megan became thoughtful. Maybe there was a way to help father and son reconnect, but she didn't know how. In her second week of work, Megan was already more settled in the company. She knew her colleagues, had mastered the routines, and felt confident. On Wednesday, Vicky called her in for a chat. "Megan, I need your help with a special project. We're organizing an event for the company's clients at the end of the month, sort of a get-together." "What kind of help do you need?" "General organization, choosing the venue, menu, decorations, guest list." It's a lot, and I need someone I can trust to assist me. I'd love to help. I've never organized corporate events, but I can learn. I'm sure you'll do great. And one detail, Mr. Harrison wants it to be something intimate and family-oriented, not those formal events as usual. Megan threw herself into the project with enthusiasm. She researched venues, suppliers, and came up with several creative ideas. Vicky was impressed by her dedication. Megan, you have a natural talent for event planning. Thanks, I really enjoy doing this. I think we've found a skill you didn't even know you had. On Friday of that week, Harrison asked to see how the event organization was progressing. Megan, Vicky told me you're coordinating the project. How's it going? Very well, Mr. Harrison. We've already secured the venue, chosen the menu, and planned the decor. Show me the details. Megan presented the entire project she had developed. Harrison carefully analyzed every detail. I really like the proposal. It's exactly as I imagined, something elegant yet cozy. I'm glad you like it. I have a question. Where did these ideas come from? Have you worked with events before? Not professionally, but I've always organized my kids' birthday parties, some get-togethers at their school. Simple things, but they gave me this experience. Interesting. You turned personal experience into professional competence. I think the skills we use at home can also be applied at work. I completely agree. Keep up the excellent work. That weekend, at Mr. Samuel's house, Megan told him about the event project. It's great that you're standing out at work, the elderly man said. I'm feeling useful. It's been a while since I've had that feeling. And how's Harrison? Still serious? He is, but I noticed he's more observant than he seems. He notices everything that happens at the company. He's always been like that. Since he was little, he paid attention to every detail. You're proud of him, aren't you? Very proud. I just wish he were happier. Why do you think he's not happy? I don't know. A father's intuition, maybe. He rarely smiles, has no social life. It's like he's just going through the motions. Megan thought about that conversation all the following week. She watched Harrison more closely and noticed that Mr. Samuel was right. The man seemed to carry a weight on his shoulders. On Tuesday, while organizing some documents in Harrison's office, she accidentally bumped into a picture frame on his desk. The photo fell to the floor, and the glass cracked. "Oh no!" she exclaimed, picking up the photo quickly. Harrison appeared at the door at that moment. "Did something happen, Megan?" "I'm sorry, Mr. Harrison. I accidentally bumped into the picture frame, and the glass cracked." She handed him the photo. It was an image of an elderly couple smiling. "Are they your parents?" she asked without thinking. "They were. My mother passed away 2 years ago." Megan felt a pang in her chest. In the photo, she immediately recognized the face of Elaine, Mr. Samuel's wife. "I'm sorry for your loss." "Thank you. I'll have the glass replaced. Don't worry about it. Mr. Harrison, can I ask you something?" "Sure. Your mother was a special person, wasn't she?" Harrison paused and looked at Megan carefully. "She was. Why do you ask?" "The way you look at the photo, it's clear you miss her a lot." "I do. She was the center of our family." "And your father? How is he handling the loss?" "My father? It's complicated. I think he closed himself off a lot after she died. We don't talk like we used to." Megan wanted to say she knew his father, that she knew how much he was suffering, but she held back. Sometimes people close off because they don't know how to express their pain. Maybe. But it's hard for me, too. I don't know how to get closer to him. Have you tried visiting him more often? Talking about everyday things? I've thought about it, but I always make an excuse. Work. Commitments. I think I'm afraid of finding him as sad as I am. I understand, but maybe you could help each other get through that sadness. Harrison was silent for a moment. You talk as if you have experience with that. I do. I lost my father when I was young. I know how hard it is to deal with the absence of a loved one. And how did you overcome it? By talking about him, remembering the good times, allowing the longing to exist without guilt. Interesting perspective. I'll think about what you said. That night, Megan was torn between telling Mr. Samuel about the conversation with Harrison or not. She decided it would be better not to interfere directly in the relationship between father and son. On Thursday, Vicky approached her with news. "Megan, Mr. Harrison was so impressed with your work at the event that he wants to talk to you about a possible change in role." "What do you mean?" "He's thinking about creating an events and public relations department in the company, and you would be the coordinator." Megan was surprised. She had barely completed a month at the company and was already being considered for a promotion. "But Vicky, I don't have specific training for that. You have something better, natural talent and creativity. The rest can be learned." On Friday, Harrison called her for a formal meeting. "Megan, I'm impressed with your work. In just a few weeks, you've shown skills that go beyond the role you were hired for." "Thank you, Mr. Harrison. I have a proposal for you. I'd like you to coordinate a new department in the company. Corporate events, public relations, internal marketing. Are you interested?" "Very interested. But may I ask why you're offering me this opportunity?" "Because you have something that isn't taught in college, sensitivity to understand what people need. That's essential for someone who will work with events and human relations." "I accept the challenge." "Great." The salary would be $4,500 plus benefits, and you would have the autonomy to build your own team. Megan could barely believe what was happening. In just over a month, her life had completely changed. That weekend at Mr. Samuel's house, she told him about the promotion. The elderly man was overjoyed. "How wonderful, my dear. You deserve all this and much more. Thank you, Mr. Samuel. Without your help, none of this would have happened." "Nonsense. It was your effort and competence that achieved this." "But if you hadn't recommended me to Harrison—" "Megan, let me tell you something. I never told Harrison it was you specifically. I just said I knew a very good administrative assistant. The rest was your own merit." "What do you mean?" "When you sent your resume online, you were selected on your own merits. The coincidence of it being my son's company was fate's doing." Megan became thoughtful. Indeed, she had sent the resume even before knowing that Mr. Samuel had a son. "Fate is truly a mysterious thing," she said. "It is, and sometimes it brings together people who need each other." During lunch, Nate made a comment that drew attention. "Mom, you've been much happier lately." "It's true, son. I'm feeling useful at the new job." "It's good to see you smiling again," said Lily. "After you lost the other job, you were very sad." "Sometimes bad things happen to make way for good things," said Mr. Samuel. "You're right," agreed Megan. "If I hadn't been fired, I would never have met you." "And we would never have met Mr. Samuel," added Nate. "You brought joy back into my life," said the elderly man, emotional. That afternoon, after the children went down for their Sunday nap, Megan and Mr. Samuel talked about the future. "Mr. Samuel, I have a question to ask." "Go ahead, my dear." "Have you ever thought about telling Harrison about our friendship?" "Yes, I have, but I'm afraid he'll think I'm interfering in his professional life. I think it would be good for him to know. It might even help you two get closer." "You think?" "I do. Harrison seems like someone who values honesty, and you've always been honest with me." "That's true. Maybe it's time to talk to him. And if you want, I can help with that conversation." "How?" "I don't know. Maybe by organizing a lunch, a casual encounter." Mr. Samuel smiled. "You never stop organizing events, do you?" "It's what I do best now," Megan laughed. "Let me think of a way to approach the subject with him." On Monday at work, Megan began organizing her new department. Harrison had set aside an office for her and a budget to hire an assistant. "Megan, you have carte blanche to set everything up as you see fit," said Vicky. "I'm really excited. I never imagined I'd get this far." "You got here because you deserve it. Now it's time to work to maintain this position." During the week, Megan interviewed candidates for the assistant position and ended up hiring a 25-year-old young woman named Megan, a recent graduate in communications. "Megan, I'm very happy to work with you," said Megan on her first day. "We're going to make a good team, I'm sure of it." The first official project of the new department was to organize a year-end event for the company's employees. Megan dedicated herself intensely, wanting everything to turn out perfectly. On Friday, Harrison showed up in her office to check on progress. How's the year-end event planning going? Very well, Mr. Harrison. We're preparing something special. Can you give me a spoiler? It's going to be a get-together party, but with a different twist. We want each employee to feel individually valued. Interesting. How do you plan to do that? We'll prepare a personalized tribute for each one, highlighting their contributions to the company during the year. I like the idea. That's exactly the kind of human approach I expected from your department. After Harrison left, Megan thought about the conversation. It was clear that he valued the human side of work relationships. Maybe he was a more sensitive person than he appeared. That weekend at Mr. Samuel's house, she shared her observations about Harrison. Mr. Samuel, I think Harrison is more sensitive than he seems. He really is, my dear. He's always been that way. As a child, he would cry when he saw someone sad on TV. And now, how is he dealing with the loss of his mother? I think he's repressing his feelings. Elaine always said he kept everything to himself. Maybe he needs a reason to open up. What kind of reason? I don't know, something that would show him he's not alone. Mr. Samuel became thoughtful. Megan, I think it's time I told him about our friendship. Are you sure, sir? I am. You gave me the courage to do it. How do you plan to approach it? I'll invite him to lunch here next Sunday, and I'll tell him everything. And if he gets angry for not knowing earlier, I'll explain that I wanted to protect his position at the company. If he's the man I raised, he'll understand. Megan got anxious about the prospect of the meeting. What if Harrison felt betrayed? What if it harmed her position at the company? Mr. Samuel, maybe it's better if I'm not here when you tell him. No, Megan, I want you to be present. After all, this story involves the three of us. On Tuesday, Mr. Samuel called Harrison. Son, how about coming over for lunch on Sunday? Dad, I don't know if I can make it. I have a lot of work. Harrison, it's been over a month since we've really seen each other. Please set aside this time for your father. All right, Dad. What time? Noon. And I'll make that roast chicken you used to like. Roast chicken? You haven't cooked in years. That's right, it's time to start cooking again after hanging up, Mr. Samuel was lost in thought. Was it really a good idea to tell Harrison everything? On Friday, Megan noticed that Harrison was especially serious at work. Mr. Harrison, is everything okay? Yes, Megan, just a bit worried about a personal matter. Can I help with anything? Actually, it's about my father. He invited me to his place for lunch on Sunday. It's been a while since that happened. That's great. It'll be a chance for you two to talk. That's what worries me. I'm afraid we won't have anything to say anymore. I'm sure you'll find things to talk about. Parents and children always do. I hope you're right. On Saturday, Megan went to Mr. Samuel's house to help him prepare the next day's lunch. Are you nervous? She asked. A little. It's been a long time since Harrison and I had a real conversation. It'll be fine. You'll see. And you, are you nervous? I am. I don't know how Harrison will react when he finds out we've known each other for months. He'll understand, Megan. I'm sure of that. On Sunday morning, Megan arrived early to help with the final preparations. Mr. Samuel was visibly anxious. What if I'm making a mistake? He asked. You're not making a mistake. You're trying to reconnect with your son. That's brave. At 11:30, Megan offered to leave before Harrison arrived. No, my dear, stay here. I want you to be present. At exactly noon, the doorbell rang. It was Harrison. Hi, Dad. Wow, that smells great. Hi, son, I made your favorite dish. Harrison walked into the living room and stopped when he saw Megan. Megan, what are you doing here? Mr. Samuel answered quickly. Harrison, sit down. I need to talk to you. Dad, what's going on? Son, Megan is a friend of mine. A very special friend. Harrison looked back and forth at his father and Megan, confused. What do you mean, a friend? Sit down and I'll explain everything. Mr. Samuel told the whole story from the day he fell in the rain to that moment. Harrison listened in silence, his expression growing more and more surprised. Let me get this straight, Harrison said when his father finished. Megan helped you on the street, got fired for it. You hired her to work here. You became friends, and I hired her without knowing any of this? That's exactly it, replied Mr. Samuel. And you didn't think I should know? Megan spoke up for the first time. "Harrison, I wanted to tell you many times, but I was afraid you'd think I was taking advantage of the situation, and I was afraid you'd think I was interfering in your company," added Mr. Samuel. Harrison was silent for a few minutes, processing all the information. "So let me understand something, Megan. Did you really lose your job for helping my father?" "I did." "And you accepted working here without knowing I was his son?" "Exactly. I only found out on the day of the interview when your father told me." "And you, Dad, really thought you could hide this from me?" "I just wanted to protect Megan. She deserved a chance." Harrison stood up and walked to the window. He stood there for a few minutes with his back to them. "Harrison, are you angry?" asked Mr. Samuel. Harrison turned around with teary eyes. "Angry? Dad, I'm moved." "What do you mean?" "It's been 2 years since I saw you so excited, so alive. And now, I understand why." He approached Megan. "Megan, thank you for taking care of my father. Thank you for bringing joy back into his life. Harrison, and thank you for showing me, even without knowing it, the value of humanity at work. Your actions at the company reminded me why I started this business." Megan couldn't hold back her tears. "I'm the one who should be thanking you. You both changed my life." Mr. Samuel came closer to them. "So no one is angry with anyone?" "No, Dad, I'm happy. Happy because you found a family," said Harrison, looking at Megan. "A family?" asked Megan. "That's what you are to him, isn't it? You and the kids became the family he needed after Mom passed away." Mr. Samuel hugged them both. "And you're part of this family too, my son. You always have been." During lunch, the three of them talked like they never had before. Harrison talked about his struggles dealing with the loss of his mother, Mr. Samuel spoke about the loneliness he felt, and Megan shared her struggles as a single mother. "You know what impresses me most about this whole story?" said Harrison. "What?" asked Megan and Mr. Samuel. "It's that everything started with an act of kindness. Megan helped a stranger in the rain, and that created a ripple of kindness that reached me." "What do you mean?" asked Megan. "You reminded me of the importance of seeing people as human beings, not just employees. That has changed the way I run the company." "Harrison is right," said Mr. Samuel. "Kindness begets kindness." "And where are those kids I keep hearing about?" asked Harrison. "Today they went to spend Sunday with a little friend," explained Megan. "But you can meet them next week." "I'd love to meet them. From what my father tells me, they're special kids." "They sure are," confirmed Mr. Samuel. "Nate and Lily are wonderful." After lunch, Harrison stayed at his father's house until the end of the afternoon. It was the first time in 2 years they had spent that much time together. "Dad, how about we start having these Sunday lunches again? Would you have time for that?" "I'll make time. I realized today how much I was missing this." "And are Megan and the kids welcome too?" "Of course. I want them to be part of our family." When Harrison left, Mr. Samuel was beaming. "Megan, I don't know how to thank you for everything you've done for me." "I don't know how to thank you either, Mr. Samuel. If it weren't for you, I'd be in a terrible situation now. We helped each other. That's how the best friendships work." On Monday at work, Megan was eager to see how Harrison would act after the Sunday revelations. He arrived at the company with a smile on his face, greeted all the employees by name, and stopped at Megan's desk. "Good morning, Megan. How was the rest of your Sunday?" "Very good, Mr. Harrison, and yours?" "Unforgettable. By the way, you can stop calling me Mr. Harrison. We're practically family now." "What should I call you then?" "Just Harrison. Or even cousin, if you like," he said, laughing. During the week, Megan noticed a significant change in Harrison's behavior. He was more cheerful, closer to the employees, more interested in how everyone was doing. On Thursday, he came to her for a chat. "Megan, I've been thinking about something. How about we organize a special event for Father's Day?" "What kind of event?" "Something that allows employees to honor their fathers. I know a lot of people would like to do that, but don't have the opportunity." "I like the idea. I can develop a project. And there's one more thing. I want you to organize a special surprise for my father." "What kind of surprise?" "I don't know. You're the event specialist. Something that shows him how important he is." Megan spent the weekend planning the Father's Day event. She had an idea she thought would be perfect to honor Mr. Samuel. On Monday, she presented the project to Harrison. "I thought of an afternoon of tributes in the company auditorium. Each employee who wants to can honor their father with a photo, a letter, a song." "I like it. And the surprise for my father? How about making him the special honoree? We can invite him to receive a tribute for being an example of a father and grandfather." "Grandfather? Well, he sort of adopted my kids as grandchildren, and they adore him." "Perfect. Let's do that." The event was scheduled for the Friday before Father's Day. Megan worked intensely on the organization together with Megan. "Megan, I've never seen you so committed to a project," observed Megan. "It's just that this one is special. It's for someone very important to me." On Thursday, the eve of the event, Megan called Mr. Samuel. "Mr. Samuel, Harrison wants you to come to the company tomorrow afternoon." "For what?" "It's a surprise. Just come, please." "What time?" 3 in the afternoon. "And could you bring formal wear?" "It's a special event." On Friday, the company auditorium was packed. Employees had brought their families to take part in the tribute to fathers. Mr. Samuel arrived promptly at 3, wearing his best suit and accompanied by Nate and Lily, whom Megan had picked up from school. "What a beautiful event," he said, impressed with the decoration. Indeed, the children agreed. Harrison went up on stage to open the event. "Good afternoon, everyone. Today we are here to celebrate something very special, the father figure in our lives." For an hour, employees took turns on stage honoring their fathers. There were tears, laughter, emotional moments. "And now," said Harrison, "we want to pay a special tribute to someone who has become an example of a father and grandfather to our corporate family." Mr. Samuel looked at Megan, not understanding. "Mr. Samuel Sullivan Grant, could you come up to the stage, please?" The elderly man was confused, but went up to the stage, accompanied by Nate and Lily. "Dad," said Harrison into the microphone, "you may not know, but you have become an example for many people here at the company." "What do you mean, son?" "Your story with Megan taught us that small acts of kindness can change lives, that helping someone in need is always the right thing to do." A large screen was lowered, and a video that Megan had prepared began playing, with testimonials from employees about the importance of the father figure. "And above all," continued Harrison, "you taught me that family is not limited to blood ties. Family are the people we choose to love and who choose to love us back." Mr. Samuel was visibly moved. Nate and Lily hugged him on stage. "And to conclude," said Megan, also going up on stage, "we want to thank you for showing us that kindness is the best investment we can make in life." The entire auditorium stood up in applause for Mr. Samuel. The elderly man, with tears in his eyes, approached the microphone. "I don't know what to say," he began, his voice choked. "When I fell on that sidewalk a few months ago, I thought it was just another bad day in the life of a lonely old man." "But you weren't alone," shouted Lily from the stage. "That's true, my dear, I wasn't alone. And thanks to the kindness of a special person," he looked at Megan, "I discovered that we would never be alone if we have love in our hearts. And thank you, son," he said to Harrison, "for giving me a daughter-in-law and 2 wonderful grandchildren." The audience laughed and applauded once more. After the event, everyone gathered at Mr. Samuel's house to continue the celebration. It was the first time Harrison brought work colleagues to his father's house. "Dad, the house looks very different," observed Harrison. "It's just that now I have reasons to keep it tidy," replied Mr. Samuel. During the evening, as the children played and the adults talked, Megan had a moment of reflection. A few months ago, her life seemed to have hit rock bottom. Now she was surrounded by people who cared about her, had a job that fulfilled her, and a family she had chosen to love. "What are you thinking about?" asked Harrison, approaching her. "I'm thinking about how life can change quickly. 4 months ago, I was desperate, without a job, without hope. And now I feel like I've found my place in the world." "You didn't just find your place, Megan. You created a better place for all of us." The following Monday, Harrison called her into his office for a chat. "Megan, I need to make you an offer." "What kind of offer?" "I'm thinking of expanding the company, opening a division specializing in corporate events and human relations in the workplace." "Interesting. And what would my role be in that?" "You would be the director of this new division, a salary of $7,000, Profit sharing, full autonomy. Megan was speechless. Harrison, this is more than I ever dreamed of. You deserve this and much more. Your work here has been exceptional, but mainly, your presence brought humanity back to this company. I accept the challenge. And there's one more thing. I'd like you to consider going to college. The company can pay for your studies. I never thought about going to college. I always thought it was too late. It's never too late to learn, Megan. You have natural talent, but technical knowledge can further enhance your ability. That night, Megan told her children about the new offer. "Mom's going to be a director," exclaimed Lily. "And make a lot more money," said Nate, always practical. "The most important thing isn't the money, kids, it's that Mom is getting to do what she loves." "And can we still visit Mr. Samuel?" asked Lily. "Of course you can. He's part of our family now." "And Harrison too?" asked Nate. "Him too. We're all a family now." 3 months later, Megan was enrolled in a business administration course. Her new division was running at full steam, and she had hired a team of 5 people. One Sunday, during the traditional lunch at Mr. Samuel's house, Harrison made an announcement. "Everyone, I have some news." "What news?" asked Mr. Samuel. "I met someone special." "A girlfriend?" asked Lily, excited. "Yes, a girlfriend, Lily. Her name is Beatrix. She's a psychologist and works with the elderly." "That's great, son," said Mr. Samuel, beaming. "When will we meet her? If you want, I can bring her to lunch next week." "Of course we want to," said Megan. "It'll be a pleasure to meet her." "And does she like kids?" asked Nate. "She loves them. She also works with family therapy." After lunch, while the kids played in the guest room, the 3 adults talked in the living room. "Megan, I need to thank you once again," said Harrison. "Why now?" "Because you helped me realize I needed more life beyond work. It was watching how you balance family and career that made me see something was missing in my life. I'm happy for you, Harrison. And you, Dad, how do you feel knowing your son is dating?" "Very happy, son. Elaine always said you'd be a great husband when you found the right person." "She really said that?" "She did. And she also said that when that happened, I'd know you were doing well." Harrison got emotional. "You know, Dad, I think I now understand what Mom meant." "What did she mean?" "That family is love. It doesn't matter how it's formed. What matters is the love that binds people together." Mr. Samuel looked at Megan, at Harrison, and then at the room where the kids were. "Your mother was right, as always. Look at the beautiful family we've formed. And the best part," said Megan, "is that it all started with a simple act of kindness." "It wasn't simple, my dear," corrected Mr. Samuel. "It was an act of love. And love always finds a way to multiply." 6 months later, Harrison and Beatrix got married in a simple and emotional ceremony. Megan was the maid of honor, Mr. Samuel was the best man, and Nate and Lily were the ring bearers. "I never imagined my wedding would be in such a special family," said Beatrix during the reception. "Neither did I," agreed Harrison. "But it is exactly the family I always wanted to have." During the party, Mr. Samuel pulled Megan aside for a private conversation. "Megan, you saved my family." "What do you mean, Mr. Samuel?" "When you helped me that day in the rain, you weren't just helping an old man who had fallen. You were saving a father who had lost his connection with his son. You are the one who saved me and my children. We saved each other, my dear, and created a beautiful family in the process, a family that was born of kindness, and that will continue to spread kindness wherever it goes." A year later, Megan was invited to give a lecture at a university on humanizing work relationships. Her division in the company had become a benchmark in the region, and her story inspired other companies. "How did your career in human relations begin?" asked a student. "It began when I stopped to help an elderly man who had fallen in the rain," replied Megan, smiling. She told the whole story, from the layoff to the transformation of her life. The students listened, fascinated. "And what is the main lesson you took from that experience?" asked a teacher. "That kindness is an investment that always pays off. Maybe not the way we expect, maybe not when we expect, but it always does." "And what would you say to someone who is going through hard times?" "That they should never give up on being a good person. No matter how hard the situation, there is always someone in a worse situation who needs help. and when we help someone, we are actually helping ourselves. After the lecture, a young woman approached Megan. "Professor, your story moved me deeply. May I ask a personal question?" "Of course. Are you happy? I mean, truly?" Megan thought about the children, who were now grown and happy. Nate, at 15, was a responsible young man who dreamed of studying business administration like her. Lily, at 11, was a cheerful girl who loved organizing family parties. She thought of Mr. Samuel, who at 77 had regained his joy for living and become a devoted grandfather. She thought of Harrison and Beatrix, who were parents of a beautiful baby and had found balance between work and family. She thought of the company, which had become an environment where people enjoyed working because they felt valued as human beings. "We are very happy," she replied, smiling. "Happy in a way I never imagined was possible." "And what is the secret to this happiness?" "There is no secret. There is choice. Every day we choose to be grateful for what we have. We choose to take care of each other. We choose to spread kindness instead of holding on to resentment. Even when things get difficult. Especially when things get difficult. It is precisely in difficult moments that our kindness is most needed, both for others and for ourselves." The young woman smiled and thanked her. Megan watched her walk away and thought about how that conversation might plant a seed of kindness in that person's life. That night at home, she was organizing some family photos when she came across an image that moved her. It was a photo taken at the first Sunday lunch at Mr. Samuel's house a few months after they met. In the photo, Mr. Samuel was sitting at the table with a radiant smile. Nate and Lily were on either side of him, and she was in the background setting the table. At that moment, none of them imagined how their lives would change. "Mom, what are you looking at?" asked Lily, approaching. "An old photo of us. Look how little you were." "Wow, I was missing teeth," laughed Lily. "And Mr. Samuel looked kind of sad, didn't he?" "He was. He still missed his wife a lot. And now he's always cheerful." "It's true. The love of a family makes that difference." Nate, who was doing homework at the kitchen table, joined the conversation. "Mom, have you ever thought about what would have happened if you hadn't stopped to help Mr. Samuel that day?" "I have, son." "And?" "I think our lives would be very different, much emptier." "So does that mean getting fired was a good thing?" asked Lily. "Getting fired was hard, but the choices I made after being fired were good." "What kind of choices?" "I chose to help someone even knowing it would cost me my job. I chose to accept help when I needed it. I chose to trust people. I chose to be grateful instead of bitter." "And you chose to love us a lot," said Nate, in a display of affection unusual for his age. "That was the easiest choice of all," said Megan, hugging her two children. The following weekend, during lunch at Mr. Samuel's house, now with Beatrix and the baby completing the family, Harrison made a proposal. "Everyone, I've been thinking about something. How about we organize a corporate social project?" "What kind of project?" asked Megan. "Something related to elderly care. I know there are a lot of lonely seniors out there like my father was." "I like the idea," said Beatrix. "In my line of work I see many cases like that." "And how would it work?" asked Mr. Samuel. "We could organize visits, activities, create a support network. Megan could coordinate the project." "I'd love to do that," said Megan. "It would be a way to give back everything we've received." "And we can help too," said Nate. "Lily and I can visit the seniors, talk to them." "What a wonderful idea," said Mr. Samuel, emotional. "Elaine would be so proud to see this family spreading love around." The Adopt a Grandparent project was launched 3 months later. Employees of the company and their families volunteered to visit seniors in nursing homes or those living alone. It was so successful that other companies started copying the initiative. Megan received invitations to give talks about the project and was recognized by the city as Citizen of the Year. "I never imagined I'd come this far," she said to Mr. Samuel during one of the project visits. "You got exactly where you deserve to be, my dear. And you? Are you happy with all this?" "I'm happier than I ever thought possible to be again." They were at a nursing home where they had spent the afternoon organizing activities for the resident seniors. Megan watched Nate and Lily chatting enthusiastically with the adopted grandparents they had chosen. "Your children are special, Megan." "They learned by example, Mr. Samuel. They saw how love can transform lives. And they'll carry that lesson with them for life." "I hope so." One of the seniors from the home approached them. "Are you the family that created this project?" "Yes, we are," answered Megan. "I want to thank you. It had been years since I felt so valued. These visits have given meaning to my days. I'm very happy to hear that. May I ask what motivated you to start this work?" Megan looked at Mr. Samuel and smiled. "One day, I saw someone in need of help and decided to stop and help. That decision completely changed our lives, and now you are changing the lives of others." "Exactly that," said Mr. Samuel. "Kindness is contagious. When you do good, you inspire others to do the same." On the way back home, Lily asked a question that surprised everyone. "Mum, do you think we were born to do good?" "Why do you ask, my dear?" "Because ever since we met Mr. Samuel, our life has become something good, like we found our place in the world." Nate agreed. "It's true. Before we just existed. Now we live and help other people live better too." Megan was moved by her children's maturity. "I think everyone is born with the ability to do good, but not everyone chooses to use that ability." "And what makes the difference, Ma?" asked Nate. "Love," answered Mr. Samuel. "When you truly love someone, you naturally want to take care of others." "And we love you a lot," said Lily, hugging the elderly man. "And I love you all very much too, my dear grandchildren." That night, after putting the children to bed, Megan stood on the apartment balcony looking at the stars. She was only 37, but she felt as if she had lived several different lives. The life before, when she was just another employee going through the motions. The life of despair when she was fired and didn't know how to move forward. The life of discovery when she met Mr. Samuel and realized she wasn't alone in the world. The life of transformation when she found her professional and personal calling. And now the life of gratitude when she woke up every day knowing she had a greater purpose than just surviving. The phone rang, interrupting her thoughts. It was her mother, Faith. "Hi, sweetheart, how are you?" "Hi, Mom. I'm fine. Really fine." "Your voice sounds different. Happier." "I am happier, Mom." "That's good. You deserve all the happiness in the world." "Mom, I have a proposal for you." "What proposal?" "How about you come live here in New York City? We have a big family now, and you'd be a part of it." "Megan, I don't want to be a burden." "Burden? No way, Mom. You raised 5 kids on your own. Now it's our turn to take care of you. But I have my life in Atlantic City. You can have your life here too, and even better. You can have grandchildren to take care of and people who love you nearby." Faith was silent for a moment. "Are you sure I won't get in the way?" "Mom, you won't get in the way. You'll complete our family." "Then I accept. I've always wanted to get to know these grandchildren better. And they're dying to get to know Grandma better. And this Mr. Samuel, who's become part of the family, you'll love him, Mom, and he'll love you." "Then it's settled. I'll start organizing the move." After hanging up, Megan felt that another piece of her life's puzzle had fit perfectly into place. 2 months later, Faith moved to New York City and settled into a small but comfortable apartment in the same neighborhood as Megan. The integration with the family was perfect. "Mrs. Faith, you're just like Megan," said Mr. Samuel at the first Sunday lunch with her present. "How so?" "You have the same good heart, the same willingness to help others." "That's where she gets it from," said Faith, smiling. "And the same stubbornness too," added Harrison, making everyone laugh. "At least now there are 2 of us against you men," joked Beatrix. 3, corrected Lily. "I'm a woman too." "That's right," said Nate. "We're the minority here." "A well-treated minority," observed Mr. Samuel. During that lunch, Megan looked at the table full of people she loved, Faith chatting animatedly with Beatrix about recipes, Mr. Samuel teaching Nate a card game, Lily showing Harrison a drawing she had made, the baby sleeping peacefully in the lap of whoever was closest. "What are you thinking about?" asked Faith, noticing her daughter's contemplative look. I'm thinking about how amazing what happened to our family is. What do you mean? 2 years ago, it was just the three of us. Me, Nate, and Lily. Today we are, she counted in her head, 8 people counting the baby. And each one came in a different way, observed Harrison. That's true, said Beatrix. I met you all through Harrison. Mrs. Faith came because Megan invited her. Mr. Samuel came falling on the sidewalk, finished Lily, making everyone laugh. And the baby arrived because Daddy and Mommy loved each other very much, said Nate, with the seriousness of someone discovering the mysteries of life. And everyone came at just the right time, said Mr. Samuel, when we needed each other the most. After lunch, while the men organized the kitchen, a tradition Harrison had started, the women stayed in the living room talking. Megan, can I ask you something? Said Beatrix. Of course. Do you ever regret helping Mr. Samuel that day? Never. Why? Because it must have been hard to lose your job, go through tough times. It was hard, yes. But if I had to choose again, I would do exactly the same thing. Even knowing all the suffering that would come. Especially knowing the suffering. Because it was through the suffering that I found strengths I didn't even know I had. And you found wonderful people, Faith added. Exactly. If I hadn't lost my job, I would never have met Mr. Samuel. If I hadn't met him, I would never have worked at Harrison's company. If I hadn't worked there, you two wouldn't have met. It's a chain of events, observed Beatrix. That's what I call fate, said Lily, who had joined the conversation. Fate? Yeah, Mom. The teacher at school explained that fate is when things happen in a way that seems like someone planned them, even though no one did. Your daughter is very wise, Beatrix said to Megan. She takes after her grandmother, said Faith proudly. That night, after everyone had gone home, Megan stayed tidying up the house and reflecting on the afternoon conversation. Did fate really exist? Or did people create their own destiny through the choices they made? She concluded that maybe it was a bit of both. Fate created the opportunities, but it was up to each person to decide whether or not to take advantage of them. Her opportunity had been meeting Mr. Samuel on the sidewalk. Her choice had been to stop and help, even knowing the consequences. All the other opportunities that came after were the result of that first choice. On Monday, at work, she received a call that made her very excited. Megan, this is the Department of Education. We received your proposal to bring the Adopt a Grandparent project to the public schools. And? Approved. We want to implement it in 50 schools starting next semester. How wonderful. How will it work? The children from the schools will adopt elderly people in the community and make weekly visits, always accompanied by teachers and volunteers. Perfect. I can start preparing the training materials. Yes, you can. And there's one more thing. We want you to coordinate the project across the entire public school system. Megan hung up the phone, beaming. The project that had started as a small company initiative was becoming public policy. She rushed to tell Harrison the news. Harrison, you won't believe it. What happened? The city approved our project for all the public schools. Megan, that's fantastic. You're changing the city. We're changing the city. This started with your idea. My idea, your execution. We're the perfect team. So now what? How will I balance this with my work here at the company? Simple. You'll have to hire more people for your division and focus more on the social project. Are you sure? Absolutely. In fact, I have a proposal. How about we create a social enterprise, focused exclusively on projects that improve people's lives? A social enterprise. That's right. You would be the president, and I would be the initial investor. What do you think? Megan was speechless. In 2 years, she had gone from a fired administrative assistant to the president of a social enterprise. Harrison, this is a dream I didn't even know I had. So, does that mean you accept? Of course I do, but with one condition. What? Your father has to be our honorary consultant. After all, it was he who taught us the value of kindness. Perfect. He'll be thrilled. That afternoon, Megan went straight from the office to Mr. Samuel's house to tell him the news. Mr. Samuel, you won't believe what happened today. Tell me quickly, my dear. because your anxiety is contagious." She told him about the project being approved in the schools and about Harrison's proposal for the social enterprise. "And best of all, we want you to be our consultant." "Consultant? Me? Of course. Who better than you to guide us on how to spread kindness throughout the world?" Mr. Samuel was moved. "Megan, when I fell on that sidewalk, I thought my life was over. Now I see that a new life was actually just beginning. For all of us, Mr. Samuel, for all of us. And you know what makes me happiest?" "What?" "Knowing that Elaine was right." "Right about what?" "She always said that when you do good, good comes back to you multiplied. Look at how that came true in our story." It's true. Everything that happened was the result of that first act of kindness. And now we're going to help other people discover that too. Exactly. We'll teach that kindness isn't weakness, it's strength, it's courage, it's the most powerful thing there is. 6 months later, the social enterprise, Seeds of Kindness, was running at full steam. Megan had hired a team of 15 people, all dedicated to creating and implementing projects that improved community life. The Adopt a Grandparent project was running in 100 schools and had created over 2,000 connections between children and seniors. Megan was invited to give a talk at an international conference on social innovation. "How did the idea for Seeds of Kindness come about?" the moderator asked. "It came from a personal experience," Megan replied. 3 years ago, I stopped to help an elderly man who had fallen in the rain. That simple act completely transformed my life and the lives of many other people." "And what is the company's philosophy?" "We believe that small acts of kindness can bring about big transformations. Our mission is to plant seeds of kindness in communities and nurture them so they grow and multiply." "And does it work?" "It works incredibly well. We already have projects in 50 cities across the country. And most importantly, the communities themselves start creating their own projects without our intervention." "Which project are you most proud of?" Adopt a Grandparent. It started with the idea of combating loneliness among the elderly, but it turned into something much bigger. The children who participate develop empathy, social responsibility, respect for their elders. The seniors feel valued, useful, loved, and families grow closer. And personally, how has this experience changed your life? It taught me that happiness isn't something you chase, it's something you create every day through your choices and attitudes. After the talk, a young businesswoman approached Megan. "Your story really inspired me. Can I ask a personal question?" "Of course. Do you truly believe that anyone can change the world?" "I believe that anyone can change their world. And when you change your world, you end up influencing other people's worlds too. How do I start?" "Start small. Help one person today. Smile at someone who seems sad. Listen to someone who needs to be heard. Offer help to someone who is struggling." "That's it?" "That's it. The rest happens naturally." The young woman smiled and thanked her. Megan watched her walk away and thought about how that conversation could be the start of a new story of transformation. On the flight back to New York City, Megan looked out the window and reflected on everything that had happened over the past 3 years. Nate was now 18 and had been accepted into business school. He was a responsible young man who actively participated in the family's social projects. Lily Brooks, 14 years old, dreamed of becoming a psychologist like Beatrix and already helped with children's projects. Faith, at 65, had become one of the most active volunteers of Adopt a Grandparent and was beloved by all the seniors she cared for. Mr. Samuel, at 80, remained the heart of the family and the wisest consultant at the social enterprise. Harrison and Beatrix now had 2 children and a solid marriage based on love and mutual respect. And her? Megan had discovered her true calling and was doing work that gave meaning to her life. But most important of all, she had discovered that family isn't just about blood ties. It's about choices. It's about people who decide to love and care for each other. The plane landed in New York City on a Thursday night. At the airport, the whole family was waiting for her. "Mom!" shouted Nate and Lily Brooks, running to hug her. "How was the lecture?" asked Harrison. "It went very well, and it generated several interesting contacts for new projects." "That's good," said Mr. Samuel. "But the most important thing is that you came home." "That's true," agreed Faith. "The house feels empty when you travel." "And I miss you all," said Megan, hugging everyone at once. On the way home, Lily asked a question that caught Megan off guard. "Mom, have you ever thought about writing a book about our story?" "Why would I do that?" "Because our story could inspire other people, just like you inspire people in your lectures." "Your daughter is right," said Faith. "It's a beautiful story that shows how life can change when we choose goodness." "And it shows that family can be formed in many ways," added Nate. "I'll think about the idea," said Megan. "If you write it, I'll help," offered Lily. "I can draw the illustrations." "And I can help with the research," said Nate. "And I'll tell everything about what life was like before you showed up," added Mr. Samuel. "So it's decided," said Harrison. "Megan is going to write our family's story." That night, after everyone left, Megan sat at the kitchen table with a blank notebook in front of her. "It was a rainy morning when my life changed forever," she wrote. "I was running so I wouldn't be late for work when I saw an elderly man lying on the sidewalk." And so she began to write the story of the family that was formed through kindness. 2 years later, the book, Seeds of Kindness, How a Simple Act Can Change Everything, became a national bestseller. The copyright royalties were donated in full to the Adopt a Grandparent project. The book inspired movies, documentaries, and hundreds of other social projects across Brazil. But for Megan, the greatest success was not in the sales numbers or the awards she received. The greatest success was in the Sunday lunches at Mr. Samuel's house, now with an even bigger table to accommodate the growing family. Harrison and Beatrix had had their third child. Nate was dating a young psychologist who became interested in the family's social projects. Lily had been accepted into an exchange program to study social projects in Europe. "Look how our family has grown," said Mr. Samuel during one of those lunches. "And it keeps growing," said Beatrix, placing her hand on her belly. She was pregnant with her fourth child. "Another grandchild," exclaimed Faith, radiant. "Or granddaughter," corrected Lily. "I want a girl cousin." "Either way," said Nate. "The important thing is that it's born into a family full of love." "And of stories to tell," added Megan. "Speaking of stories," said Harrison, "I have some news to share." "What news?" everyone asked. "A production company wants to adapt our book into a movie." "A movie?" exclaimed Lily. "Are we going to be famous?" "We're already famous," said Mr. Samuel. "Famous for spreading kindness around the world." "That's true," agreed Faith, "and that's the best kind of fame anyone can have." After lunch, Megan and Mr. Samuel were alone on the porch, watching the kids play in the yard. "Mr. Samuel, can I ask you something?" "Of course, my dear. Did you ever imagine our story would go this far?" "I never imagined the details, but I always knew something special was happening." "How did you know?" "By the way you helped me that day. There was a different light in your eyes, a kindness that came from the heart." "And what do you think Elaine would think of all this?" Mr. Samuel smiled, his eyes shining. "She would be very proud, and she'd say this was exactly what she asked God for before she left." "What did she ask for?" "That I would find a new family to care for and be cared for, and that this family would spread love around the world." "Do you think she's watching us?" "I'm sure she is, and she's smiling." At that moment, Lily came running in from the yard. "Grandpa Samuel, Grandma Faith is teaching the little ones how to plant flowers." "That's wonderful," said Mr. Samuel. "Flowers are like kindness. The more you plant, the more beautiful the world becomes." "That's true," agreed Lily. "And when they grow, they make other people smile." "Exactly," said Megan. "That's how kindness works. One person plants, another takes care, and everyone enjoys the beauty." "Mom, do you think our story will inspire other families?" "It's already inspiring them, sweetie. Every day I get messages from people who read our book and decided to do something good for someone. And do you think those people will form beautiful families like ours?" "Some will," said Mr. Samuel. "Others will improve the families they already have. The important thing is that they'll all spread more love around the world." That night, as the family said their goodbyes and each headed home, Megan felt a deep sense of gratitude. 5 years ago, she was a desperate woman, unemployed, without prospects, struggling alone to raise 2 kids. Today, she was the president of a nationally recognized social enterprise, author of a best-selling book, mother of 2 extraordinary young adults, and part of a large, loving family. But most importantly, she had discovered that true wealth isn't measured in money or professional success. It's measured in love, in relationships, in the difference you make in people's lives. Before going to sleep, she went to her kids' room to say goodnight. Nate was studying for college but stopped when she walked in. "Mom, thank you for everything you've done for us." "Why are you thanking me out of the blue?" "Because today, seeing the whole family together, I realized you created something magical. You turned our small, broken family into a big, happy one. It wasn't just me, Nate. It was all the choices we made together. But it started with you stopping to help Grandpa Samuel. And do you agree with that choice?" "I completely agree. It was the best thing you ever did in your life." Lily, who was in the next room, shouted, "I agree too. And when I grow up, I want to be just like you, Mom." "You'll be even better than me, sweetie," Megan replied, "because you'll start making a difference in the world sooner. Then I'll start tomorrow." "How?" "I'm going to help someone who needs it, just like you helped Grandpa Samuel." Megan smiled, knowing that the chain of kindness that had begun with a simple act of help in the rain would continue to spread through the new generation. The next morning, Lily actually put her plan into action. She saw a classmate crying at recess and approached to help. "What happened, Harper?" "My grandmother is in the hospital and I'm scared. Do you want me to go with you to visit her?" "Would you do that?" "Of course. My family has experience in caring for elderly people." That simple offer of help led to a lasting friendship between the 2 girls, and a special visit from Lily Brooks and her family to the hospital, where they brought joy to several elderly patients. The school principal was so impressed with the initiative that she invited Megan to talk about the Adopt a Grandparent project to all the classes. "It's amazing how kindness multiplies," the principal commented after the talk. "It's the greatest discovery I've ever made in life," Megan replied. "Kindness is the only thing that the more you give, the more you receive. And your daughter has already learned that lesson. She and my son. They grew up seeing that helping others is natural. It's part of who we are as a family. You're raising the next generation of kindness multipliers." "I hope so. The world needs people who believe they can make a difference." That afternoon, on the way back from school, Lily made a comment that deeply touched Megan. "Mom, today, I understood something." "What did you understand?" "That being happy isn't having everything you want. It's wanting to help other people be happy too." "Where did you learn that?" "By watching our family. Everyone here is happy because everyone takes care of everyone." "That's true, and that's how we want it to continue." "It will. I'll make sure of it." "How?" "By being like you, stopping to help those in need, even when it's a lot of work." Megan hugged her daughter, knowing that her mission as a mother was being fulfilled. She had raised not only successful children, but kind human beings who would make a difference in the world. End of story. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to hit like and especially subscribe to the channel. That really helps us who are just starting out. Now, continuing. Now, tell us what you thought of this touching story. Do you believe that small acts of kindness can truly transform lives? Have you ever been in a situation where helping someone changed your destiny? Share your opinion with us in the comments. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss other heartwarming stories.